working to connect a region of over 600 million bridges between our lands.
Hello and welcome to ASEAN in Focus. I'm Alma Angeles on today's headlines. The United States President Donald Trump has offered additional assistance to the Philippines in its fight to contain the spread of the COVID-19 during a phone conversation with President Duterte on Sunday. And we're live in Canada, Kuala Lumpur, Hanoi, Vietnam, in Thailand, Cambodia, and many more. U.S. President Donald Trump has offered additional assistance to the Philippines in its fight to contain the spread of the coronavirus disease during a phone conversation with President Duterte last Sunday. Now, in a statement, the U.S. Embassy in Manila said, quote, President Trump expressed his solidarity and offered additional assistance to the Philippines as it continues to battle the COVID-19 pandemic. Both leaders agreed to continue working together as longtime allies to defeat the pandemic, save lives, and restore global economic strength. During the call, President Trump also expressed condolences for the death of 11 Philippine soldiers recently killed while fighting Abu Sayyaf terrorists in Sulu. The two leaders discussed how the Philippines and U.S. can continue building upon its strong and enduring economic, cultural, and security ties binding the two nations. Since the COVID-19 outbreak, the U.S. has committed a total of $4 million in health assistance to the Philippine government. The aid supports several efforts, including laboratory system preparedness, case finding and event-based surveillance, technical expert, response and preparedness, risk communication, and infection prevention. Recently, Washington also donated nearly 1,300 cots, originally intended for the Balikatan 2020 joint military exercise, for the patients and frontliners battling the coronavirus. Senator Bongo said he is in favor of extending the quarantine measures currently in place in the National Capital Region for another 2 weeks. Let's listen in.
Isang-ayon po ako na i-extend ang enhanced community quarantine sa NCR, sa National Capital Region, dahil dito po ang tumataas na cases, marami po at kailangan pong ma-contain ito. Baka hindi po kakayanin ng ating healthcare system kung patuloy po ang pagtaas. Dahil patuloy pa pong nagma-mass testing po ngayon sa iba't ibang syudad, ay dapat muna nating malaman kung kailan magfa-flat yung curve. So sa mga ibang probinsya naman po, kung sakali mang bubuksan dahan-dahan, maging modified quarantine po ito para po tingnan natin kung sino yung pwedeng lumabas at ano lang po yung importante. Importante rito yung may pagkain po ang tiyan ng bawat Pilipino, dahil yun po ang dahilan kaya po sila lumalabas. Salamat po at kailangan lang natin ng kooperasyon at disiplina po ng bawat Pilipino. Maraming salamat po.
The Philippines imposed on March 16 a lockdown in the northern part of the country. The Department of Health of the Philippines reported on April 20, 6,459 cases, deaths of 428, and recovered cases of 613. Meanwhile, Vietnam is sharing its experience in fighting COVID-19 during the G20 summit. We have more from our EBC correspondent in Hanoi, Ralph Wandolph Empire. Hello, Ralph. Hello, Ralph. Can you hear me?
There you go. Sorry for that. Hi, good
Hi,
afternoon,
there you
Alpha. How are
go.
you
Okay.
today?
Good to see you. Good to hear from you.
Thank you. Right. Yeah, Alpha, this session was attended by the Director General of the World Health Organization, Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, and health ministers from the G20 countries, along with officials from international and regional organizations like the World Bank, the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, the United Nations Foundation, and the Global Alliance for Vaccines and Immunization. Now, at the meeting, which followed the G20 leaders video summit in March 20 that discussed global responses to health emergencies, the officials shared their country's experiences and proposed urgent measures to fight the pandemic. In his remarks, Deputy Minister of Health Truong Quoc Quang said Vietnam, which is ASEAN chair in 2020, has successfully organized the special ASEAN and ASEAN Plus 3 summits on COVID-19. At those events, participating leaders reaffirmed their determination and commitments to remaining united and to act jointly and decisively to control the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic, to mitigate its adverse impact on people's livelihoods, societies, and economies in the region. He noted, adding it is of crucial importance that the ASEAN Plus 3, that includes China, Japan, and Republic of Korea, ASEAN US and ASEAN EU mechanisms and other international communities highlighted the urgency of the pandemic and committed to a collective response. Talking about Vietnam and ASEAN's expertise, Quong noted that the country had set up a national steering committee for COVID-19 prevention and control during the early stages of the outbreak with strong commitment from the whole political system, the government, and the public. He also said that the Vietnamese government has appealed for national unity against COVID 19 with the motto, and I quote, fighting the pandemic like fighting the enemy, unquote. Besides, Vietnam has been applying a strategy of prevention, early detection, quarantine, and treatment, and engaging local authorities to direct and mobilize all resources on site. It has implemented early measures to prevent transmission from abroad while identifying and controlling effectively transmissions within the country. Measures have been taken to control and limit the spread of the disease, such as early quarantine for suspected cases, mass testing for everyone coming from affected areas and epicenters, and social distancing. Vietnam has actively collaborated with partners in different spheres to improve testing, research, investigation, and treatment protocols for the most effective outcomes, despite limited resources, officials said. And also, Alma, he added a health app was introduced for citizens to update their daily health statuses and provide information about suspected cases in their areas. The app is also helping the nation's health sector to identify individuals in need of medical assistance in the fastest and most effective manner, serving as an official channel to disseminate information about the pandemic as well as health recommendations for the public. Quong went on to say that from economic and social perspectives, the Vietnamese government has issued incentives to mitigate the impacts of COVID 19. This includes tax breaks and permissions for late payment of taxes, while simultaneously offering policies to support businesses, investors, small traders, and the public. Furthermore, the country has adopted a dual approach of containing and controlling the outbreak while sustaining socioeconomic stability. Immediate actions have been taken to help people facing hardships, particularly the vulnerable, poor, and workers, making sure that no one is left behind, he said. The deputy minister said, as the current chair of ASEAN and a non-permanent member of the UN Security Council, Vietnam has also made efforts to raise a coherent response to the pandemic, including timely sharing of information in COVID-19 detection and treatment, standardized measures for health inspections at borders and entry points, and consular assistance to ASEAN nationals. Additionally, a cross-sectoral ASEAN working group involving senior officials of health, foreign affairs, defense, immigration, and transport has been established to develop a regional holistic response to the pandemic and its widespread disruption. Practical measures in the agreement aim to ensure information exchange and policy coordination among the member states, such as strengthening ASEAN's response capacity to public health emergencies, setting up regional medical stockpiles, and developing an ASEAN pandemic support fund. Wong said. Alma?
Vietnam has followed a budget-friendly approach to fighting this disease and has proven quite effective. Is Vietnam mulling or considering opening up its economy soon or opening up the city?
Well, it's actually a good news, Alma. I heard there's a proposal that after April 20th, after the current social distancing campaign and the lockdown in most of the cities here in Vietnam, they will start reopening these businesses.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What
Because,
are
mhm.
these essential businesses only, or start opening some, considering some other businesses to open as well? Or is
Well,
it?
it's actually some of the small stores, I believe. This includes it doesn't include schools.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it doesn't include schools yet. We're hoping that in mid-May, we're gonna go back to school.
So May 1, is that the date? May 1, you're considering opening up some businesses there in Vietnam?
There's no specific date mentioned yet,
Okay.
Alma.
So they're just considering it. Is this going to be like the whole of
Proposal.
Vietnam, or even the provinces as well?
Well, it's actually the entire Vietnam, Alma.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much, Ralph, for your yes, you were going to say something.
Yeah, because in the past 5 days, there are no additional cases reported here in Vietnam, and the good news is, there's no deaths reported so far.
So
Yeah,
no
and
new cases,
2015.
no new deaths.
That's right, because we had 268 cases, and of them, 215 have recovered already. So we only have 53 active cases now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very good news indeed. Thank you so much, Ralph, for that update for us. And we hope to hear you soon for more good updates, good news from Vietnam. Thank you so much.
My pleasure, Alma. Reporting live from Hanoi, Vietnam. This is Ralph Randall Penfai. We live in interesting times.
Meanwhile, Thailand is considering also easing some of the current restrictions in place and allow some businesses to reopen. That and more news from our EBC correspondent, Gila Pablo. Hello, Gila.
Hello, Alma. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Gila. What are your updates for
Yes,
us?
yes, Alma. Yeah, actually, in 9 days, Thailand is supposed to end the implementation of the emergency decree, but there are reports that a decision has to be made if this will be extended or not. The government will likely extend the emergency decree for another month as it weighs up when to ease the current restrictions and allow some businesses to reopen amid the coronavirus pandemic. Alma, how to proceed was high on the agenda at a meeting of the Center for COVID-19 Situation Administration, or CCSA, on Monday, with the current emergency decree set to expire on April 30. Entertainment venues will remain closed, and the nationwide 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. curfew is expected to be extended for at least another month, the source said, although General Prayut told security officers to allow some additional types of delivery vehicles to operate during the night. Alma, the message from the Prime Minister was that the government would consider measures proposed both by state agencies and the business sector to contain the virus before making a decision. That's according to Dr. Tabisil, CSSA spokesperson. He also added provinces with no virus cases were high on the list to be allowed to ease restrictions. As of today, there are 9 provinces with no virus cases. And still, according from Bangkok Post, Alma, Thailand is facing new challenges as almost 9,000 Thais from 14 countries will return home after April 30. While the Interior Ministry has prepared 796 quarantine facilities nationwide with 20,941 beds, the mass influx of returnees is renewing fears about the capacity for the public health system to manage. The largest group, that's 1,950 Thais, will arrive from the United States, which has the highest confirmed number of cases and fatalities. Another 786 will return from Australia, 600 each from New Zealand, India, and Myanmar, 500 each from Cambodia and Indonesia, 400 Thais from South Korea, 335 from United Arab Emirates. There are also 331 Thais from the Philippines, 290 from Saudi Arabia, 280 from Japan, 160 from the Maldives, and 40 from Sri Lanka. Alma, those numbers do not include the 8,000 Thai workers coming from Malaysia who registered to enter Thailand by 5 border checkpoints and in the south. Furthermore, Alma, Bangkok police has pressed charges against food donors after their charitable handouts near Lumpong railway station allegedly failed to comply with measures to contain the spread of COVID-19. Alma, the legal action follows a video clip showing dozens of people huddling to receive free food near Sri Krum Hotel on Krum Kasem Road in Om Prapsat Trophai district. The charity handout, which took place on April 12 at 4:30 p.m., turned ugly when a brawl erupted among some of those gathered. The police have investigated the incident and identified the donors whose names were withheld on Monday. And back to you, Alma.
All right. Thank you very much. How is Bangkok looking right now?
It's starting to be
Busy?
busy, but then still we have to wait announcement from the ministry and of course CCSA.
So you may start reopening on May 1st. Is that right?
We still have to wait for the
So
further
for the
announcement.
further announcement. Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Gila, for your updates for us. We'll see you soon later. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Alma. This is Gila Pablo reporting live from Bangkok, Thailand. We live in interesting times.
All right, staying in Thailand, over in Pattaya City, it may begin reopening their businesses there as well. Let's find out more from our EBC correspondent, Esther Odanga. Hello, Esther. Thank you for joining us today.
Hello, good afternoon, Alma, and
Good
to our
afternoon.
viewers around the world. So here's the latest catch in Pattaya, Thailand. Since the new closure restriction of Pattaya City last Thursday, April 16, the number of new cases declined and even dropped to zero yesterday until today. And in line with that, Chonburi being the first province in Thailand to announce the lift of restrictions. Pattaya, the well-known resort city of Chonburi province, may begin reopening businesses on May 1st if the current downward trend in COVID-19 infection continues. Chonburi Governor Pakaratorn Tianchai, in meeting last April 14 at Chonburi Public Health Department, said that he gave the go-ahead for immediate reopening of electrics and appliance stores inside shopping malls. The order principally is aimed at restoring service at mobile phone and computer shops, two items that have become crucial in age of remote work and learning as well as social distancing. Pakaratorn added that further relaxation of Pattaya's business shutdown may come on May 1st if the government's emergency decree is not renewed and the number of reported COVID-19 cases continues to decline. Included in the announcement that might open on May 1 if all goes well are pubs, massage parlors, spas, beauty salons, movie theaters, fitness club, boxing stadiums, water parks, game shops, bowling lanes, all zones of shopping mall, public parks, passport offices, convenience stores, golf courses, nursery centers, restaurants, drink stores including alcohol stores, hotels, fresh markets, beaches, all tourist destinations and islands. This order, of course, is subject to change based on the overall emergency decree in place and overall COVID-19 situation in Thailand. Back to you, Alma.
All right. So, are the residents worried at all that you might be reopening too soon, or how are the residents there reacting to this announcement, to this good news, rather?
Okay, so since most of the residents here in Thailand rely their source of income from the tourists, most of them get this news on a positive way, and of course they just They just have to follow the rules and regulations that the local government have to implement when when the when all of the things will be back to business.
All right. And how are you doing, Esther? How are you and your family doing? How are you coping with all this?
For me and my family, we're just staying here at home, keeping ourselves healthy, of course.
And are you back to work? Are you working still from home? Are you working from home?
Okay, so I'm not at work yet.
Okay.
Maybe because the teachers will start working on 1st of July. So we are still waiting for more announcements.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much, Esther. And I wish you good health and stay healthy, please, for us. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you, Esther.
My pleasure, Alma. Reporting live from Pattaya, Thailand. This is Esther Adanga. We live in interesting times.
All right. ASEAN in Focus. We'll be right back.
Maraming salamat po sa nurse na nag-asikaso sa amin ng anak ko kahit sobrang busy niya.
Hindi po ako iniwan ng doktor hanggang sa umayos ang pakiramdam ko. Salamat po talaga.
Thank you po sa nursing assistant na pumansin agad sa amin pagdating namin ng ospital.
Thank you so much po talaga sa lahat ng staff ng ospital, maging sa mga utility po, dahil gumaling po ako dahil sa kanila.
Ating pasalamatan at pangalagaan ang mga magigiting na health workers.
This program is presented by
SMC Infrastructure, building a better world.
Co-presented by Canrib Corporation, your ventilation and air conditioning specialist. Vita Herbs Philippines Green Coffee, masarap, mabango, at healthy pa. Hubert Industries Incorporated, Trading and Services, the cooling expert. In participation with Rain or Shine Elastomeric Waterproofing Paint, color for protection for your home. Matimco. Matimco is wood. Wood is Matimco. Our Square Variables Incorporated, your trusted UPS supplier and UPS maintenance provider in Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. CompuZell Computer Services, ID card and lanyard manufacturer, DN Steel, EMAT UPVC Roof Corporation.
Skyway Stages 1 and 2, the elevated toll road system project, run from a section of the South Luzon Expressway from Alabang to Magallanes, Makati. The Skyway Stage 3 is an elevated expressway connecting the South Luzon Expressway through the existing Skyway Stages 1 and 2 to the North Luzon Expressway via Balintawak. Skyway Stage 4 is an 80-kilometer mixed elevated and at-grade toll road that will connect the existing Skyway system starting from the FTI section all the way to Bulacan.
To Cambodia now, where the Education Ministry started airing e-learning programs on national television. That and more news from our EBC correspondent there. Joining us live is Crystal Ann Ballesteros. Hello, Crystal Ann.
Hi, Alma. Good
Hi,
afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you doing? How are you?
Well, I'm still staying at home, work from home.
Okay, that's good. What are your updates for us, Crystal?
Okay, for today, Alma, the Ministry of Health said this morning that 3 more COVID-19 patients have been successfully treated and discharged. The number of recovered patients have climbed to 110 over 122. When it comes to business, Alma, the government has given a 3-month tax exemption to hotels, guest house, restaurants, and travel agencies in Phnom Penh and several provinces as the industry feels the pinch over the coronavirus pandemic. Mr. Chanta said the 3-month exemption as of March until May are for hotels, guest house, restaurants, and travel agencies in Phnom Penh, Siem Reap, Sihanouk, Kep, Kampot, Babet, and Poipet City, which are registered with the General Department of Taxation. Mr. Chanta said owners of the F&B industry who have suspended or will suspend their businesses have to apply at the Labor Ministry for the suspension, so laid off workers can receive a $40 allowance for 2 months. Let's take a look on how education system works now in Cambodia since the government postponed the reopening of schools. The Education Ministry yesterday started airing distance learning programs or e-learning on the national television of Kampuchea and some cable TV channels for students in the capital and provinces throughout the country. Education Minister Hangchun Narun announced yesterday the launch of the TV programs was carried out following an instruction by Prime Minister Hun Sen to support the education of all students in kindergarten, primary and secondary school levels while schools are temporarily closed to contain the spread of coronavirus. Mr. Narun said that e-learning programs will be aired on TV networks such as a newly created TVK2 for educational broadcasting, Deco TV Channel 22 and 55 new cable television networks. Back to you, Alma.
All right. So let me ask about your latest news on the education programs, e-learning programs aired on TV. How are they able to tailor this need to the corresponding grade level of the students?
Alma, according to the Ministry of Education, in addition to airing learning programs on television, the Ministry of Information is also creating a feature in the ministry's application through which students can get access to e-learning videos suited for their respective levels, subjects, and lessons. In addition, students can watch videos on 3 digital education platforms the Ministry of Education has organized since March through YouTube, Facebook, and e-learning centers. They can also learn through downloading videos from eSchool Cambodia and Wiki School apps.
All right. Is Cambodia considering opening up its city soon? Its country soon?
There's no update yet, Alma, but in conclusion, though Cambodia has high recovery rate, Cambodia is currently in the first stage of the COVID-19 pandemic, advising people should maintain their vigilance and continue applying preventive measures in order to break the chain of infection. Even if there were no new cases of COVID-19 positive being reported the past 8 days,
wow.
there is real danger that it can still spike anytime.
That's true. So the COVID-19 mitigation measures are still in place. Stay home, social distancing, and all that.
Yes, and it's still extended.
It's still extended until when?
Until further notice.
Until further notice. Okay. Thank you so much, Crystal Ann, for all that update. And we'll see you soon.
You're welcome, Alma. Live here in Cambodia, I am Crystal Ann Ballesteros, and we live in interesting times.
Okay, let's head on over to Canada and find out the latest coronavirus situation there. Joining us live from British Columbia, Victoria, British Columbia, is Jeanette Duazo. Hello, Jeanette.
Hi, Alma.
Hi.
Hello, hi.
How are you doing? Good to see you. Yes. What are your updates for us, Jeanette?
Yes, I do. So, effective immediately here in British Columbia, it's against the law to resell medical supplies and other essential goods for personal profit during the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic to make sure that personal protective equipment is going where it's needed most in British Columbia. Law enforcement will issue $2,000 tickets for infractions to those reselling essential goods and price gouging. So British Columbia Minister of Public Safety and Solicitor General Mike Farnworth has given police and other enforcement officers the ability to issue the $2,000 violation tickets. So I have a video of that, of Minister Farnworth in one of the video conference. Let's listen to Minister Farnworth.
BC is flattening the curve through social distancing, testing, and border control measures. In short, people following Dr. Henry's directions. These are all things we should be proud of. But there are always those who seek to take advantage of people's fears and those who prey on the collective anxieties of our communities. Instances of secondary reselling of medical supplies, personal protective equipment, and other essentials. We've been fielding complaints through partners at Consumer Protection BC of instances of price gouging for the things that we may require to stay healthy. For example, an elderly, immunocompromised consumer paying 10 times the regular price for some N95 masks. Business owners looking to purchase personal protective equipment for their workforces, having to pay grossly inflated prices. British Columbians have enough to deal with right now. We need to hold the line, to follow the guidance of the public health officer. Right now, we need to worry about our collective health. That's why, effective immediately, the province is enabling police to issue $2,000 violation tickets for these shameful practices, for price gouging and the reselling of medical supplies and other essential goods during the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. The province is also calling upon enforcement staff from local government and provincial ministries to support enforcement by issuing these tickets for the duration of the current state of emergency for the COVID-19 pandemic. This includes municipal bylaw officers, liquor and cannabis inspectors, gaming inspectors, conservation officers, park rangers, natural resource officers, community safety officers, and commercial vehicle safety officials and sheriffs. These measures are in concert with the federal government's April 14th announcement, which allows local and provincial police forces to issue tickets to returning travelers who do not comply with the requirement to self-isolate for 14 days under the Federal Quarantine Act. We are also engaging Consumer Protection BC as a foundational partner in the province's response to price gouging. Consumer Protection BC will be the first and main point of contact for all price gouging of essential goods and supplies, and they will ensure those complaints are resolved appropriately in coordination with the police and other enforcement officers.
Okay.
Okay.
Hi, Jeanette.
Yeah, so,
yes.
Hi. So, yeah, so it's very clear, and that was also echoed by the Premier of British Columbia, John Horgan. So what they said is that the violation tickets are a much timelier alternative to prosecution through the courts and increase the province's enforcement toolkit to support the COVID-19 response. Police and other enforcement officers will independently exercise discretion to issue tickets for the EPA order or the Emergency Program Act order violations under the Offense Act's violation tickets and administration and fines regulations. So it's been ongoing. And there's been a lot of reports, but government, they don't rely on post on Facebook or social media that, oh, my neighbor is doing this. They can't do that. So I guess there's been a lot of reports about that, and they have proven it themselves. So they have issued these measures. So, like what he said, British Columbia is flattening the curve, and that is good. And that's it for British Columbia at the moment.
Jeanette, is British Columbia mulling also to reopen its economy soon, like some other cities in the U.S.? And if it is, in what direction is it going? Is it a gradual approach? Is it,
They have announced that they will. It's extended, like the kind of the isolation quarantine thing. It's extended up to April 28th. Okay. And then if I remember it right, I read that the border is still going to be closed, open only to essential services between the Canada and US for another 30 days. So it's going to be closed for another 30 days.
Okay, so much of the measures would still be in place in case
Yes.
it does decide to reopen. Okay.
Yeah, and also I have spoken to some parents
Oh.
that there's some issues or that there's some updates from schools that it seems like it's not official yet, but it seems like school will be for the regular schools will be continuously be closed, and it looks like they're gonna open in September. So the new school year in September, that's when they're going to open the schools. But for now, at home as usual for the children.
But homeschooling is continuous, right?
Yes, that's for me and my son. It's homeschooling, but
Yeah.
they have they have given us a little break, so they're a little bit lax on asking for reports, and we were given an extra holiday week just to decompress from all the we have 2 weeks of spring break, and then the learning consultants, they've been in contact with parents like me and say, well, we understand that there's a lot of pressure going on. We don't know everybody's situation at home, so they have given us an extra week off.
Wow.
And yeah, and then they have, so for homeschooling, it's different timeline compared to the regular schooling. So we have like 4 weeks off. So what our learning consultant did is like they put all the holidays that we have not used towards the end of the school year, which is around May. So right now for my son, we only have 3 weeks left for his school year, whereas in regular school they're they're on till end of June.
Wow. So lots
Yeah,
of time to be together.
It's a good time. Well, I'm always with him, but we still have 3 weeks to go.
So I never asked you, how are you and your family coping with the situation over there?
We're doing good. My husband is getting a little bit of having an anxiety, like panic and stuff like that.
Because of the
he's been on the
closure?
Yeah, he's always been in the front line. He never, and they are in the medical health field, right? So they're on, and when they announced when Trump announced that the emergency thing, whatever, so everybody got affected by it. So the people are panic buying, right? So when that started, my husband been working like 10 hours a day. And it's like he doesn't take breaks. I'm like, no, you can't do that. You're gonna burn out. But they're always like that. They are in the industry that always wanted to help and stuff like that. And I said, no, you can't do that. But so anyway, so right now it's easing up a little bit, but it's still, we still have until April 28th, and we might hear something different by April 28th. So we'll see.
We'll see. We'll watch out for that.
Yeah, we're trying to help each other, support him here at home, making, lots of vitamin D, lots of relaxing and good food.
Yes.
Makes him feel better when he gets home.
All right. Thank you so much, and stay safe and healthy. Look out for each other. Thank you for your time.
Yes.
I'll see you later.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Reporting live from Victoria, British Columbia, Canada. This is Jeanette Duazo. We live in interesting times.
Meanwhile, Malaysia is also mulling lifting the Movement Control Order, or the MCO, but by doing it gradually, such as maintaining the social distancing rules and banning such large gatherings. Let's get that report. Joining us live from Kuala Lumpur is Ruby Tinawin. Hello, Ruby. Okay, Ruby, can you hear me?
Yes, Alma. Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Ruby.
Yes, so I'm here to report what's happening here in Malaysia.
Yes.
Yes, the Ministry of Health is looking into a mitigation plan to ensure that the COVID-19 chain is broken after the movement control order is lifted. The Health Director General, Dr. Nur Hisham Abdullah, said, the government may introduce a soft landing approach when removing the movement control order. This would mean social distancing rules and bans on large gatherings were likely to continue for the rest of the year. He said policies in terms of public gathering must change. Social distancing must remain, and reminding people to wash hands and to stay at home will continue. That is the principle. He also said, and I quote, what we will return to is not the norm, but a new norm. We may take some time, maybe 3 or 6 months. Dr. Nur Hisham said the mitigation plan included a policy change that outlined the practice of the new normal. The imposed MCO is currently in its third phase following 2 extensions by the government, and is expected to end on April 28. On Monday, Malaysia recorded the lowest number of daily new cases, that's 36, since the MCO began on March 18. It also reported 0 deaths in the span of 24 hours, the first time it has done so since March 19. However, Dr. Hisham stressed that the country is still battling with COVID-19 and that more needs to be done to lower the number of cases even further. The total number of confirmed COVID-19 cases in Malaysia since the pandemic began is 5,425. There are currently 2,041 active cases being treated at the country's health facilities. Now, for the past 2 weeks, the consistent decline in COVID-19 positive cases has given people the confidence that the country's effort to break the chain of the virus infection have shown positive signs. These developments clearly show that healthcare workers and law enforcement personnel have performed their duties well, but the goal will not be fully achieved if the people continue to disobey the movement control order. This is because as long as there is no vaccine to treat COVID-19, people need to be concerned about the public health method, that prevention is better than treatment, and to adopt new healthy habits. The World Health Organization also expects the world to continue the fight against COVID-19 until next year, which means that it will be 8 months until the country is completely free of this deadly pandemic. Despite the good news of declining positive cases, Dr. Nur Hisham warned that new cases would be possible in the next 2 weeks, especially in relation to Malaysians returning from overseas, as well as local cases involved under the enhanced MCO. That situation was true for Sabah, as reports showed 85% of COVID-19 positive patients, that 249 out of 293 positive cases in the states, are asymptomatic. Sabah Health Department said this was worrying trend because patients could transmit the infection to others, especially those who were in close contact with them without knowing it. According to Ministry of Health, 30 districts remain as COVID-19 red zones in the country, with government declaring new areas in Kuala Lumpur to be subjected to the enhanced MCO until May 3rd. If Malaysia wants to see COVID-19 to remain consistently under control and for the MCO to end soon, everyone is encouraged to do their part by staying at home and adhere to the MCO directives throughout the crisis. Now, with some companies suffering a drop in revenue of up to 50%, cost-cutting measures such as layoff, unpaid leave, and job freezes may be expected in the next 3 to 6 months, according to a survey by the Federation of Malaysian Manufacturers. FMM President Sotian Lai said manufacturers were under tremendous strain because of the national shutdown of public activities to stop the spread of COVID-19. More than half of the companies surveyed, they said their revenue had dropped by more than 50%. Other major findings on the survey, which involved 419 respondents, comprising manufacturing and manufacturing-related and support services companies, reveals the following. 44% indicated that the sustainability of business operation will only last for 3 months. whereas 34.1% said they can only sustain their business operation for 1 month. The other are saying the current wage subsidy was inadequate to retain employees in the next 3 to 6 months without any pay cuts or retrenchment. 51% felt the current wage subsidy period was too short and should be at least 6 months to enable employers to wade through the impact and aftermath of COVID-19 and the MCO. Now, cost-cutting measures that employers would undertake in the next 3 to 6 months, as per the survey, include the following: freezing headcount 67%, instituting unpaid leave 59%, removal of non-contractual allowances and benefit 59%, forced annual leave 59%, reduction of working days per week 39%, and many more. Now, suggestions were made as well by these companies to the government, and some of those suggestions are the following. Number one, the wage subsidy should cover all employees, irrespective of wage level. And the wage subsidy ceiling to be set at 8,000 ringgit instead of 4,000 ringgit currently. 57% of them wanted the subsidy to be more than 50% of wages. And the FMM president also said the respondent asked the government to consider allowing factories, including those who are in non-essential products, to resume operation, albeit under strict MCO guidelines, with a minimal or at least 50% workforce to cater not only for local demand, but for export market as well. The survey also highlighted other suggestions by the respondent. Now, Malaysia is soon to observe Ramadan, and the Hari Raya is coming. But Malaysia said it will look into the possibility of deferring its public holidays for the Hari Raya Aidil Fitri celebration, which is what Indonesia has done in view of the COVID-19 pandemic. The government will decide whether the holidays are to be rescheduled after getting views from the minister in the Prime Minister's department in charge of religious affairs. Senior Minister Datuk Yaakob said, and I quote, "It will not just be about Hari Raya, but also on matters such as the Tarawih prayers, and that the minister need to discuss and propose." Indonesia has decided to postpone its Hari Raya Aidil Fitri holidays to December 28 to 31st to stop the mass movement of its people while the world is still grappling with the COVID-19 pandemic. The
Yes,
first day of
Ruby.
Ramadan. Yes, Alma.
Yes, with the mulling of the lifting of the movement control order, you said the Malaysian government is introducing a soft landing approach. How would this approach be? Would the social distancing still be in place? Curfews or anything like that? But what about businesses and essential services? Would there be more of it opening or something like that? Can you explain more on that?
Okay, the mitigation plan now, which they call the soft landing approach for now, is still maintaining the following. There will still be social distancing. There will still be, a ban of mass gatherings. So mass gatherings, whether that includes religious gathering, is still yet to be announced. But they made it clear that they won't allow it even though MCO is lifted. Right, for the moment, businesses, aside from the essential sector, they open up an additional 15 sectors. But then again, the same policy applies. You still need to apply for permission to operate your business because the zoning still exists. We still have red zone, we still have green zones.
Okay.
Those cases with COVID-19, Alma.
So the movement control order would only be lifted on the green zones or in the green zones?
No, right now, the movement control order is until April 28.
Okay.
But even though it's until April 28, those who were from the green zones were allowed to operate their business according to the guidelines. If they fulfill the criteria, they can operate. So all other zones are not allowed to operate or run their businesses. Now, with the whether they will lift the current MCO or not, we do not know yet. But as it is, as we speak today, in the Kuala Lumpur area, they have just announced enhanced MCO until May 3rd for some areas in Kuala Lumpur. Alma.
Okay, so Kuala Lumpur, which is really a busy city, how does it look now?
Kuala Lumpur is like a ghost town as it is now because the movement is really very, very controlled. Police do not do not summon you anymore. Instead, they bring you straight away to lockdown places because they said they are done with the, giving you warnings. If you do not follow the procedure, then they will just bring you and detain you, Alma.
Wow, these are for people seen walking on the streets or on the roads, is that it?
Yes, and also because they ban people traveling in a vehicle, you
Yes.
must be alone. If there's two of you or more, police will definitely ask you why. So if you are not able to provide valid reasons that they recognize, so they will just bring you, Alma.
Okay, do you have also, like over here, we have a quarantine pass. Do you have that also in Malaysia?
Yes, we do. We do have, but only for those, let's say, people who do not work from home. So they need to travel. They need to carry a letter that was issued by the police headquarters. So approved by the police department. So your company may issue you a letter stating that you are required to come for work, but that needs to be validated and approved by the police department, Alma.
All right. Thank you very much, Ruby, for your time. Always good to hear from you and your updates. Thank you so much. Stay healthy, stay alert. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Alma. Reporting live here in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. This is Ruby Tinawin. We live in interesting times.
All right, and that is the news around the ASEAN region and other regions. And I'm Alma Angeles. We live in interesting times.